Greetings, everybody. Welcome back to Daily Psalms for Hope. Today is Monday, and I hope you had a real good weekend, a restful weekend, a weekend where you could worship your Lord and your King. Today we're going to be looking at Psalm 33, so get out your Bibles and let's look at this and see what it has to say. We're going to be focusing on just 5 verses, but again, as always, look at the entire verse, look at the entire psalm, because God may be wanting to tell you something that we're not talking about today. So let's look and see what this has to say. Verse 12, it says, "Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord, the people whom he has chosen as his heritage. The Lord looks down from heaven. He sees all the children of man. From where he sits enthroned, he looks out on all the inhabitants of the earth. He who fashions the hearts of them all and observes all their deeds. The king is not saved by his great army. A warrior is not delivered by his great strength. The war horse is a false hope for salvation, and by his great might it cannot rescue." Now, the reason I picked this was because, have you ever had one of those Copernicum moments? And what I'm referring to is where we realize that we're not the center of the universe. You know, where our lives, it doesn't move at my pace, it doesn't move in my terms, nor in accord with my preferences. Sometimes we think that the world revolves around us. But I think what the psalmist is trying to get us to understand is that the world doesn't revolve around us. It revolves around our God and our King. He does say in verse 8, he says, "Let all the earth fear the Lord. Let all the inhabitants of the world stand in awe of him." You know, I think what the psalmist is trying to get us to understand is that the things of this world are not the things that, that matter. The world and all the things in our lives does not revolve around us. Sometimes we get to places in our lives where it does. But I think what I gleaned from this is that this God who looks down from heaven sees everything. Everything that is going on. He fashions the hearts of them all and observes all their deeds. What the psalmist is trying to get the reader to understand is that everything revolves around God, not us. And sometimes, we get into these grooves in our lives where we just feel like everything is revolving around us. But I think today's a good reminder. I think today is a good reflection on the fact that it is God who has created everything. It is God who saves. It is God who rescues. It's not going to be around the things that we create or the things that we conjure up. The strength, the salvation, the hope, everything that we are revolves around him, not us. And so I think it's just a good reminder that our life was created to center on God, not on the things of this world, not on ourselves, which we often make it to be. But our lives are to be centered on God. You know, recently we just finished a week of what we called being in our red letter challenge that we're doing for 40 days. And the being was just to get our hearts and minds focused off of ourselves and onto him, because he is the one who the attention needs to be put on, because he is the creator and mover of all things, not us and not what we implement in this life. And so our focus, our eyes, are to be on the Lord. And God is desiring that from your life and from mine. And so I think it's a good start to the week to realize the fact that the world doesn't revolve around us. We have those Copernican moments where we realize that, hey, it's not all about us, but it's about Him. And pray that this week becomes about Him as you go about your work week and really focus on Him being the center of your life instead of yourself or the problems or trials that you're having. So may God's blessings be upon you this day, and as always, be a blessing whenever and wherever you can.